President William Samoei Ruto and cutting off the free lunch that has been given or has always been given to our military men, to be specific, the KDF. Now, there are so many things that I want to read into this because most of the time, I'm a person who always look into the untalked, the untold, the hidden. That is what I always focus on. For instance, if you come and tell me something or anything about someone or about something, I will say, okay, that is the information that I already know. What about the one which I don't know? That is why we are diving deeper to make sure that we really understand what is going on as a maybe. You understand? It's not like what I'm going to give is gospel truth. But no, KDF being stopped from having free lunch, automatically that will bring some rage in them. They will want to retaliate. They will wish they could go to the streets and demonstrate about it. But you see, they can't. But there are so many ways of, demonstrating from the service. Yeah. You can simply decide not to take orders. And that's it. You understand? Now, there was an allegation by one YPI leader, Kalonzo Musyoka, who said he hopes that President William Ruto is not planning to use aliens to come into Kenya and register as voters so that they could vote, and ensures that William Samoei Ruto retains his presidential seat come the year 2027. Now, in politics, a game is always played such that you have to think several years ahead. And this is my thought, this is my analysis. One, maybe the president is using this way to annoy the KDF so that they decide to sit down, not take orders to guard our borders, so that our borders become porous, and those so-called aliens might get their way inside Kenya. Now, there are two things that might happen. One, the aliens or foreign nationals who might come into Kenya under the deal that they will come register as voters, because the government has all the machinery to ensure that and do that swiftly, even without the Kenyan citizens noticing. But two, that will be jeopardizing the security of the Kenyan nationals. That will be trying to put us in a very dangerous situation, because, again, criminal gangs and criminals will find their way into Kenya. They will hurt people and they may just find their way back. You see, when there is conflict, when there is violence, people tend to concentrate so much on the violence and how it's happening and forget about other issues. So sooner we might start talking about the violence that has been unleashed to the Kenyan nationals, and we will forget about the constitute the IEBC. We'll soon forget about the Finance Bill 2025 and all the struggles that we have been fighting for. So we should be very careful. As I'm just trying to think out loud, I'm just trying to give a maybe or a possible scenario that might occur. Because you ask yourself, why cut the budget of the military? Why? Since independence, it has always been there. So why cut it at this moment? You understand? This is kind of a psychological game that President William Ruto is trying to play. For me, I read malice. One, having porous borders so that aliens or foreign personnel would come in with ease. Because one, if they come with their documentations through clear way in the borders and all that, they will have been registered as foreign aliens. So when they get into the system to try and register as voters, maybe it might not work. But if they just come as a nobody who has never existed in this world, in Kenya, to be specific, the system doesn't know him. Just maybe, he might be able to get Kenyan ID as fast as possible. He might be able to get, and we know when you have a Kenyan ID, it means already you are a citizen. You understand? So with the ID, the person will be able, maybe even with the new identity, new name, you may never know. And the person might be able also to register as a voter. Then come the year 2027, they are able to vote. And their mandate is simply one: make sure that they all vote for Ruto. Importing 1 million, 2 million people into the country is not a hefty task for the government. Maybe for an institution it is difficult. And by the way, leaving that alone, apart from that, have you thought that now that the diaspora will be able to vote without necessarily needing to come into Kenya, those votes over there, for those who might not be able to be brought in, first of all, they will begin with a rumor. And this rumor will be this way: the total registered voters of diaspora are like 1 point something or 2 point something million. That is how they will make it. And they'll make sure that the majority of those votes coming from the diaspora are to the advantage of Ruto, because this man is capable of doing anything. This is just my loud analysis. I don't know what to think, because I'm trying to ask myself, what is the motive? What is really the motive of scrapping free lunch from the KDF, from the Kenya Defense Forces? I just don't understand it. You know, meaning there is a hidden agenda, something big, not in a positive way, but in a negatively impacting the nation, is yet to happen. And when that happens, we will tend to forget about the hashtag appoint IEBC. And to be honest, I don't see why the IBC needs to be delayed with the reasons like, there is a court case barring the president or the government from constituting the IEBC commissioners. Why? Because this case can be expedited in the court of law as a matter of national interest. 1-2 weeks, it's listened to and the case determined, and we forge forward. Let them solve whatever conflict is in between. Let them know the reasons as to why the petitioner is seeking to stop the constitution of the IEBC members, and let the process be taken so fast and the conflict be resolved. Because all I can read is pure malice. I don't know what is your thought. You can give me your take in the comment section below. If you're watching from our YouTube channel, kindly consider subscribing and press the notification button, so anytime that we are live or we upload content of this nature, you'll be the very first person to be notified. Ahmed Khalif is my name for the Unscripted Talks here in Durb Radio. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Kwa timba kali za Afrika, Durb Radio ndio mpango mzima.